structure. Market structure is something that cannot be manipulated and it cannot lie to you, right? So we follow what the market is doing by literally doing what you first learned as a trader, by looking for higher highs and higher lows or lower lows, right? Once you find out the direction of the market, all you do is wait for a support or a resistance level to be broken in a higher time frame. You wait for a price to retrace to that level, and then you take the trade. The higher time frame is the direction of the market. The short-term time frame is how you get into the market, right? I'm not going to take a trade on the 1 hour because the 5 minute could be bullish, right? If the trend is bearish and I take a trade on the 1 hour could be showing me that we're still bullish, but the 5 minute we could be in a crazy downward trend, right? So you have to be able to scale down to certain time frames and wait for the time frames to align before you take the trade. All right, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. All right, so for instance, right, let's look at the 2 hour, right? And I'm going to do a bar replay real quick just so we could, like, you know what I mean, see. All right, so you need to record yourself. Yeah, I'm recording it right now. I post it on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. All of my lives I post on YouTube. My YouTube is in my disc or in my bio. All right, so if you can't make our lives, you could always rewatch them. Right, so the way our strategy works is by following trend, right? So if we make a higher high, right, that is just letting us know that price is going to continue in the trend. So every single time you make a higher high, price is always going to retrace. Every time, without a doubt, right? Same thing in a downward trend. If price makes a lower low, price is always going to retrace. It's just the way market structure works. It's impossible for it not to. All right, so we're going to start off with a downward trend so you guys get to see what I'm talking about, and then we're going to start off with upward, and then we'll finish off, you know, with where we're at in the market today. I appreciate all the follows and I appreciate the gifts. All right, so how do we know when a trend is broken? All right, so this is where we start off. All right, we're going to start off right here. All right, we see that we make a support level right here, right? Price came down, it goes sideways. What time frame are you using for overall market structure? It's okay. I use from the 1 hour to the 4 hour. Never anything below the 15 minute if you want to start to see more detail, right? So the 4 hour is what I use, and the 2 hour is what I use for market structure. And then I will scale down to the 15 or 30 just to get a better reading, right? So again, sometimes you may look at the 4 hour and it may not be as clear to you. Like right now we're in the 2 hour, right? Can you guys see higher highs, right? Can you see higher highs? And can you see higher lows, right? Right? Can you see support? Price is sideways, right? Can you see resistance? What's resistance? Price cannot break above a certain area, right? So price couldn't go below, it couldn't go above, and we were in this area for a couple of days, right? If I go to the 4 hour, right? If I go to the 4 hour, it's the same exact thing, and honestly, in my opinion, it looks a little bit cleaner, right? We have our higher high, we have our higher low, we have our higher high, we have our higher low, we have our higher high, we have our higher low, and then again, we finally get a higher high, right? So again, we could always go down to whatever time frame looks better to you. So right now, I'm just gonna stick to the 2 hour just because it has a little bit more candles for me to give you a better of a explanation, right? So as you can see, what was happening before we started to make higher highs? All right, we have a high, and then what do we get after we get a high? What's this? Is this high lower than this high? If so, then this is called a lower high. All right, what's this? Is this a low right here? These candles are this low, all right? So this would be our low. All right, this purple candle, is this purple candle, this V-shape reversal, is it lower than this low? And then yes, my man giving that sauce. Yeah, man, I do this for free, bro. I don't charge nothing. My Discord, I get free callouts every single day. I take trades with you guys, everything. We do this shit on the daily, right? All right, so we have our low, and then we get a, oh, that's not a lower high, sorry. That's a lower low. Right, so again, I'm only starting here because we get higher highs and then we kind of base off. So I'm just kind of starting here just so you can see. My Discord is in my bio. If somebody in the Discord could drop it, the link in TikTok, please do that for me, because it's yeah. But I'll make sure, if you want to send me a DM, I'll send it to you after. Oh, here we go. There we go. I pinned the comment if you want to get into the Discord. Right, so as you can see, we make lower lows, right? So what happens? We stop making lower lows and we make equal lows. So this is a support level, right? We have a high, we have a lower high, and then is this low lower than this low? Yes. So we still have another lower high, right? And then what happens? Price comes down, comes up. So this is our last lower high right here, right? And then price breaks it. So now we have a break of the trend right here. So now we start to look at ourselves and say, hey, there might be a trend reversal. So let's just be on the lookout and not think that we're going any lower, because our last lower high has just been broken, and that is it. Damn, Jamarlin, you be going off with these gifts. I appreciate it, for real. It means a lot. ICC Prince, crazy. Again, if you go into my Discord, you will see the numbers that I do. I'm not going to sit here and brag on TikTok because that's not who I am, but you will see the numbers that I do. Everybody in my Discord knows I post everything. I post my losses, I post my wins. I post a 260K loss. Tell me who's doing that. Nobody's showing you a 260K loss. You know what I mean? I post everything. Again, we turned $5 million into $22 million. Again, I could show you guys. I will post it in the Discord for those who want to see it, right? But I'm trying to push you to reach more people. I appreciate it because that really does help, and it really does get me to see more people. As you can see, we have 53 people in the live. So yeah, I appreciate you, Jamarla. That really does, is you're a goat for that. um, so just get back to what we're saying. Nah, bro, you're a real one for helping since day one. Yeah, I appreciate it, bro, for real. Yeah, the community is definitely growing, right? We almost got 300 people into the Discord. So I appreciate you, Jamal. I can't even say. So this is the 2 hour right now. Again, we get the market structure from a higher time frame. You know what I mean? That is the way the market moves. So all of the lower time, 45K for the Discord. Yo, funny as hell. But yeah, man. Listen, if you're getting back into this, I promise you. Listen, I go into the Discord and go to testimony and reviews. There's guys in here that's been here for 2 months that are getting payouts and past and funded accounts within 2 months worth of trading, which again is very rare. People take years to get into trading and make money, right? People day in and day out. There's a guy in the Discord. He has a 50K pay. He has a 50K account and he's up like 50. He's up $82,000. You know what I mean? So, bro, how do I get some entry into that 50 count giveaway? It's wild. So I'll be trying to it's just people in the Discord, right? That's kind of how I do it. If you're in my Discord, that's where we do it at. We try and give away 50K accounts. I haven't done one in a while, but somebody reminded me about some stuff. So I'm about to start doing it again. But yeah. So what a blessing to whoever wins that and knows how to handle it. Listen, we'll be doing it a lot. We will be doing that shit a lot. When I first started, I gave like 2 away a week. What platform do you use to trade on? Right now I trade on Top Step and Trading View. And on my live accounts I trade on MT5. Yeah, we on the FU page now. That's what's up. I like that. Yeah, we getting there. I just kept getting banned. Like every time I go on live, they would ban me, and it took me off the FU page. But I guess we're getting back up there. But I can't get into your Discord. Send me a DM, and I'll make sure you get in. Send me a DM right now, and I'll make sure you get in. All right, so basically this is just market structure, right? So how do you know what to look for, right? We basically wait for price to give us a correction, right? We don't call them a retest because a retest is on a smaller time frame. Just copy the link in your Discord. Yeah, listen, if you're trying to get into Discord and we pin it in the comments, or you go to my page and it's not working, just send me a DM. I will make sure I get it to you after the live, right? If it's not letting you, right? Don't stress it if it's not letting you. Just send me a DM and I'll make sure you guys get in. All right. So as you guys can see, then we have lower highs, right? So we are going in a downward trend, right? Lower high, or high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then what happens? Price, every single time we make a lower high, we should be making a lower low, right? That is our indication. That's how it works. So I'm gonna move this up a little bit and I'm gonna come right back, right? So this is what trends are, right? We have, again, higher highs, higher lows. That's an uptrend, right? So the way that our strategy works is that when a high gets broken and makes a new high, so we have a high, all right, and then when we get a new high, that is when the indication works, right? That is the only thing. If we're in an uptrend, that is the only way we could call it an indication, is by price making a new higher high, right? So it has to make a higher high, right? So this is what we call a indication, right? It's basically giving us a hint that price wants to go higher, right? So anytime price makes a higher high in the market, that is your indication that price wants to go higher, right? The correction in the market is gonna turn resistance, which is your high, into support, and it's gonna stand on top of it, right? So this is our correction. Right, again, price is going to correct itself back to that high, which we call a support level or a resistance level, depending on what type of trend that we're in, right? And then we trade the continuation, right? So what's the continuation? The continuation is price just carrying trend. It's going to make a new higher high, right? That is how this strategy works. And then you take the trade off of the continuation, right? Or that says, oh, sorry, I didn't put the continuation. Right, the continuation again will always make a new higher high in a uptrend, right? And it's just the same exact thing on the downtrend, right? Again, this strategy works well for targeting anything above a 3R. All of my trades are 3, 4, 5R if I'm on my funded accounts. If I'm on my live accounts, bro, I can't even tell you my R's. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Today was a good trade for me on S&P 500. Yes, I will go back and redo a trade recap on the trade today that I took on that same exact trade. I will give you a recap on the trade that I took. Right, so this is how it works, right? So we have our high, we break that high, giving us an indication. We get a correction in the market back to that high, and then we take that trade, putting it below the next lower high. Right? Put your stop loss at the lower high, and then you target a 3RR or a 4R, whatever it is that we target liquidity, right? Which again, I will get into that. Right, so let's go back to the charts, right? And let's look at what is going on, right? We have lower low, lower low. Where did this lower low pull back to? The support level. Did it break above our lower high? No. Price came down, but it made equal lows, right? So that is letting us know that price isn't going much higher yet because we didn't make a lower low. So we don't have an indication that price is going lower, right? So the minute price, so now we have an equal low, right? We have equal lows, which is called our support, right? So now, once price decides to go up and make a higher support level, right, which is this higher low right here, this is just a sign that price doesn't want to go any lower. So now we just wait for a lower high to be broken, which is this right here, right? So now we are literally basically starting our indication, right? Now this is our indication that price wants to go higher. Why? Because price broke this high, right? Remember, price broke the high, giving us indication, giving us a new high. We're going to get a correction back down to that level, and then we take the trade to go higher, right? So now look, we have our indication, right? Price gave us a new high above this higher high right here. Right, above this high right here that I just marked, right? Price gave us an indication that we want to go higher. All right, so now this is our indication that price wants to go higher. All right, so where's our correction? Our correction is just back down to this lower high. So this is the correction into the market. All right. So we have our indication. Let me turn this red, or let me turn that blue, I mean. All right, indication, blue, our correction back down to our lower high. All right, that's our correction back down to this lower high. So once price starts to turn bullish by what, right? If we zoom in a little bit, right, and we look at each candle, we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, we have a lower high. So this is the last bullish candle. What does price do? Price breaks above it, all right? So now we are getting higher highs, right? We have a high, a higher high. So now we wait for a pullback. If we go down to a lower time frame, this is a support resistance level on a lower time frame. So let's go in and zoom in and look. Right? This was the last lower high right here. Price came down. Now we have a new high, a new lower high, or higher low, right? So that is where we're going to take our entry. Why? We have our indication, our correction. So now this is our continuation because price held above this lower high, right? It held. So once price starts to become bullish, that is when we hop in the trade, right? We have our high, we have a new higher high, right? So again, it literally just starts all over again. This is my indication because we get a new higher high, our correction, and then we take the continuation, making a new higher high, right? So we literally take the trade long right here. You put your stop loss right at the lows because if price decides something happens and then if price doesn't want to continue trend, it's always going to break that initial low, right? So what do we target? This is a 2R. We always target a 3 to 4R. And as you can see, that's a 4R right there, and you get a nice 4R. Super easy, super smooth. This facts, I'm about to pass my second funded in 2 weeks tomorrow. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. I passed 6 fundeds in 1 week, and I didn't even copy trade. You know what I mean? But this is just the strategy that it presents itself. You know what I mean? It's very simple. Again, you're never going to get this overnight, right? But it's for the people that want to put in that work, right? By coming into the market day in and day out and not giving up. You only fail in trading is the day that you quit. Everybody loses money, right? Every single body, right? All of the people that I know, there's one person I know who traded for 6 years. He was getting around 200K, 150K, 200K a year. He lost every single penny he has ever touched, right? Lost his wife, his house, and his car. You see what I'm saying? Now he's doing around 50K per week off funded accounts only, right? So that's just what trading is. It's you versus the market, right? It's you versus you. Pardon me, I meant to say it's not you versus the market, it's you versus you. Every strategy works. It's just your discipline that allows you to, how long did it take to master a strategy? About 2 months. I would say 2 months, yeah. It's always you versus you, right? Again, today I blew one funded account today because I had a trade that was going in my direction and it decided to go against my direction. I went to go add some more minis and I accidentally added 5 micros and it literally took me right out of my position and closed my account. So I was a little mad, but it happens, right? And guess what? It wasn't the market's fault. It was my fault for not paying attention and allowing negative drawdown. Again, I don't really be in drawdown that often, but allow negative drawdown to, yo, hold on, I gotta stop real quick. You passed your eval, bro? Alhamdulillah, bro. That's awesome, bro. That is awesome. You were just messaging me about that, bro. Congratulations, bro. Look, every day we have people passing evals and getting to that funded stage. Every single day, right? But it's always you versus you in this market. It is very easy. It's just the fact that you start to lose, right? And you will start to chase your losses, and then you're shit out of luck, right? Because that's not how the market works. The market isn't forgiving, right? Again, today I took a $800 loss, right? And then I waited for price to do what it needed to do. I took the trade and we capitalized for $1,500, right? So again, I only take 2 trades per day. I never take any more than that. There are some days where I may take another trade only because I may got stopped out of break even, right? So majority of the time, I've never ever take more than 2 trades per day. What time frame do you need to use this strategy on? So we like to use high time frame alignment. We want the high time frame to give us the direction, and then we will scale down to the 15-minute or the 5-minute to wait for an entry, and then I will scale down to the 1-minute or the 2-minute to execute my entry so I get minimum drawdown. That is the way that I do it. And again, if you're in my Discord, you will see I post everything. I literally post everything. When I'm waiting for a setup and I say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need to happen. If this happens, I'm taking the trade, right? So, yeah, again, multiple people. I don't do limit orders now. I don't do limit orders. Multiple people took a couple of my trades the other day, and multiple people passed their funded accounts, right? People taking big, like, it's you'll see. Just come to the Discord, you'll see. Right? People who are in the Discord, I mean, they're here for a reason, right? They're still here for a reason. Some of these guys have been here for almost 3 months now, and they're still here. So that tells you, right? For the people who are in people's Discord, they're never in a Discord that long because it's either the strategy is not working for them or they just don't have the motivation, right? There's still people here that are still here from day one, and it's because this strategy is legit. Right? And I do free one-on-ones, right? Tell me who is doing free one-on-ones. I do free one-on-ones every single day. Where the hell did this shit go? I could, right? But I'm like I tell people, like, money isn't my motivation. I don't need to make money off every single market. I make money. What I mean by market is I don't need to sell your course. I don't need to make an ebook. I don't need to make money off YouTube. The market feeds me, right? That's it. I'm cool. I'm cool with what I make from the market. Right? God gives me my blessings, not man. Right? I get my reward from God. So I give you guys free everything, and I allow Allah to play part and give me my blessings. Right? Like, yes, I give out all of my trades every single day for free. Every single day. I may not call out all of my trades because there may be trades that I take on my own that are a little risky. So I'm not ever going to give you a trade that's risky. right? So I will call out all of the trades that I think are success. And you ask anybody in the Discord, how many trades have I called out that have been wrong in the last 3 months? Can somebody give me a number of how many trades I called out that's wrong? I don't even, if that, you know what I mean? Like, it's been very, I think a couple of trades there may have been break even, or somebody may have had a tight stop loss, and because again, there was 17. You feel me? But it's like, it's rare, guys. It's rare. It's rare. I mean, it's very rare, bro. Again, I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know what I mean? But if I give a call out on the Discord, it's because I am very confident into that trade. What what most what have I seen was top or bottom tick? Yeah, again, if you go to my TikTok, if you go on my page on my TikTok right now, I literally post all of the trades that I take. I post my losses and I post my wins. Right? You see that I literally top tick everything because of the Fibonacci. Right? Call out a trade I took on my 1 mil live account and blew it. If you full port a 1M count, bro, we gotta fight. Sounds like your majority is more success than losses. Yeah, it is. Again, I have losses. I posted my win rate, right? I can show you guys again. I have, where did you learn from? If you go to, again, I tell my whole Discord to go to this guy's YouTube, right? This is the master of the strategy that I learned from. This is the guy, the guru, right? This guy is probably, in my opinion, my favorite trader. His name's Trades by Side. He has a full course for free on YouTube that allows you to go and just watch the whole thing, right? So in my trade alerts, it's just the trade alerts, right? If you go to my text channel, it says Sniper Entry Club Trade Alerts. That's where I send all my trade alerts, right? But Trades by Sai is what I am teaching you. That is all I'm teaching you. I add a little bit things that he's not. Yeah, you're in his Telegram. Yeah, literally, he's the best. Listen, this guy's a fucking beast, guys. He's the best trader that I've come across. His name's Trades by Sai. I just put it in there. Trades by Sai. I just do it, but he doesn't use fib. I use fib because that was part of my strategy. Again, I used to trade trend lines, support and resistance, ICT, SMC, Flow V2. I used to trade every strategy that's ever been out there, literally, right? Fibonacci for me was off of support and resistance, and I was fucking killing it. Once I put support and resistance with my Fibonacci levels with ICT, it was like I could fucking, again, CJ would tell you every trade that we take is off fib and it's profitable. Almost every fucking trade. We'll be like, yo, fib levels hit, and then price will run. Matter of fact, watch. Let's just do this real quick. Okay, ready? Swing low, swing high. 705. Look, 705. You take your entry, and look, you are in not 1 penny worth of drawdown. Is my Discord any good? You could ask the guys in the Discord, or you could go to the review section and see all of the people that are passing funded accounts. We had fucking 5 people pass a funded account yesterday. We had people getting payouts. We had a person just pass a funded account right now. Right? So you can ask them. Don't ask me. Ask them. Come into the testimonial review section and just read what they say. Right? I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you it's good, but don't listen to me. Listen to them. Yeah, so again, I'll show you how to use the fib, but I'm just saying the fib is a retracement tool. So when price runs in one direction and starts to retrace, you draw out the fib, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna bounce off the OTE level, right? So between 618 and 786 is called OTE, and that is where we take our trade. I take my trade off 705 because that is the middle, and that is almost the best entry every single time. And as you can see, look, 705, you take the trade, you're not 1 penny worth of drawdown, right? If we go to right now and you took this sell like I did yesterday, you would have hit for 4,000 ticks, and it was a fib level. Right? 618. Hold on, let me go to the higher time frame. All right, from the support, price left from this area. It came up, made a high, came down, hit our levels, and then we end up going lower, right? Gold is pushing indication right now. So as you can see, what is going on, right? So let's draw out, let me just show you real quick, right? We don't want gold to go lower. Why? We have a, oh, hold on, this is not fucking, that is not it. This is it right here. I'm bugging. I was about to say, look, this is the, look, watch, look how many ticks this is. This is the trade that I took yesterday. We called it off of, damn it. Matter of fact, let me just show you the fib real quick, and then I'll show you the trade that I took. Right? Look. Price came down. It came up. You take the trade. That's a cool like 50, 60 pips. No, 190 pips. It really calls for it. Hell no. My Discord is free. That's just a joke. Where did you say your signals are? My signals are in, it's called Trade Alerts. It's in the text channel. It's called Sniper Entry Club Trade Alerts. That's where we do all of our trade alerts, right? But as you can see, price came down, came up, touch 705. You take your entry, and you got 1,900 fucking ticks, bro. Like, you can't beat that. Matter of fact, you really got more if you bottom ticked it, right? You got 2,400. That's insane, bro. Off of a fib level alone. Oh, sorry. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right, so where do we put our fib level? From the swing high to the swing low in a downtrend. What did price do? Price came back. Look where it's at, right? OTE is from 786. From 786 to 618. We take the trade off 705. And look what price did. Price came and tapped 705. Right, you take that entry. Look at this candle. We come all the way down from here down to here, right, which is 2,382 points, right? Again, which is like, matter of fact, right? But again, I could even go lower and show you how I took this entry right here. Look, I caught this whole move down. This is the move that I caught. Go look on my TikTok. It's like the last 2 posts that I just posted. I caught this move down. Do you know what I'm gonna show you why, and then we're gonna go back over the strategy, right? So what is price doing? What is price doing, right? We're making shit. All right, so I'm just gonna start off here. All right, we have a high. All right. What is this? Is this high higher than this high? Yes. So this is a higher high. Is this high higher than this high? Yes. So it's a higher high, right? And then again, higher high, higher high, right? Now let's do our lows. This is our low. And then what do we have next? A higher low, right? Market structure, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low. Let me take this fill level off real quick. And then what do we get? We got another higher low right there, right? So now, every single time that price has made a new high, we draw out the top, right? So this is our resistance, and we want to turn it into support, right? So this is my indication that price wants to go higher, right? In an uptrend, price has to make a higher high in order for it to be an indication, right? So does price make a higher high? Yes. What does price do next? It retraces, which is called a correction. Where does it retrace to? It retraces to our last higher high. What does this? It pulls back, giving us a higher low, right? We don't want these lows to be broken. We want them to make it a new low for itself and then reverse, right? So this is my correction. So that is where you take your trade take the entry here, stop loss at this low here, and then you target a 3R or a 4R. And as you can see, this is a 4.1R, and you got a 4R on the dot. What time frame? Again, we use high time frame for direction, but we take our trade in the 5-minute or below. Can you mark out your gold? Yes, I got you. I got you. I'm going to show you. I got you. Oh my God. I can hear sigh. You're funny. Right? So if this is my last higher low, we don't want price to break beneath that or market structure is broken. Right? So what did price do? Price broke underneath of it. Right? So now again, this is just an ICT term, but we don't really use it. But I'm just going to use it now just to let you know that market has broke structure, so it's a market structure shift. So the next thing that we want is for price to break underneath the low. So if this is the low, and we want price to continue to make lower lows, right? It has to break underneath of support, right? Which is support? Support is on the bottom, resistance is on the top, right? So if we want trend to continue in a downward trend, it has to make a new lower low, right? What does price do? It makes a lower low. So this is my indication that below this level that we're bearish, right? So what is price doing now on the top? Is it making higher highs or is it making lower highs? It's making lower highs, right? Lower high, right? So what is this? Is this low lower than this? Pardon me. Is this high lower than this high? Yes. So now this is the next lower high, right? What is about this one? Is this high lower than this one? Yes, it is a lower high, right? So we have a new low being made, right? And then we have another new low being made. So we can see underneath this support level we are bearish because we keep getting lower highs and lower lows, right? So once price gives me a pullback and makes a lower low, I want price to hold underneath this level, and then I will take the trade and hope that price makes a new lower low, right? And as you can see, it does way the fuck down here, right? So what do? We take our entry here, we put our stop loss at the top of these lower highs, right? And you can see that price is already making lower lows for us, right? So we make a support level. Again, I like to tell you guys, if we go down to the 1 minute, you could see it a little bit cleaner. But I like to tell you guys to wait for price to break our level, wait for it to retest it like this, right? We broke this level, we retested it. So that is where I tell you guys to enter, right? Because if price breaks beneath this level and retests it, it is almost 99% of the time going to make a lower low, right? So this right here is the smartest, safest entry with your stop loss at this lower high. But again, once you start to see support levels be broken, again, this is where I would have got in and put my stop loss right here, right? Because why? We broke this level and then we broke this level. So when price retraced back to this level, that's the best entry. Real rap, that's the best entry, right? Oh, sorry, right? Why? I'm gonna show you one more time because I don't think you guys seen that on TikTok. But we already had this level, this low be broken, and then it makes a new support right here, right? Price comes up to this lower low, and then it breaks below this lower low. So if price comes back to this level and breaks beneath this again, we just want price to retrace back to this lower low. Once it does, we take our entry and it goes lower. So right now, this is Forex. I trade futures and Forex, yes. Depending, do you change your stop loss depending on trade? Yes and no. There are certain times where I won't take the trade because the lower, like in a downtrend, sometimes I won't take the trade because the stop loss, again, has to be above that lower high in a downtrend. So if the stop loss is too big, and then I'm not going to take the trade because I don't want to risk too much money, or I'll just increase or decrease my size of lots or contracts so I can still risk the same amount, right? So yes, I trade futures. This is the trade that I took. I'll show you the trade I took today on futures. Listen, I trade every pair that you could think of. I've done it, It works on everything. You don't take this trade. Hold on. You don't trade this with NQ. Yes, I trade this with NQ. I did take a trade today on NQ. I'll show you. I don't teach anything different and I don't trade anything different. Gold is the easiest, to me, is the easiest market to trade because price action holds for days or even weeks or months. NQ will break structure and change trend whenever it decides. Like whenever it's feeling froggy, it will just change trend, right? It never holds trend as long as gold does because gold is a safe haven asset. So when the market is unpredictable conditions and the dollar is decreasing, gold is always going to be stabilized and go with the trend, which will most likely be an uptrend. That is why if you look on the daily time frame, gold has been in an uptrend since 1980s. It has never been in a downtrend ever in its time. It has pullbacks, but it's never been in a clean weekly, monthly downtrend. It's never has, right? So that is letting you know that gold is on a parabolic curve, which algorithm traders like to trade, right? These people who have a lot of capital literally are fucking dumping billions of dollars into gold because it's something that will almost never decrease in value, right? Because it's just the way that the economy is built around, and it is really made for people that are like that again that have billions of dollars. This is the system is made for the rich, right? We are retail traders. They take 95% of every penny that we earn when it comes to the stock market. There are trillions and trillions of dollars in the stock market every single day, right? So we don't move the market. Our fucking one contract, our 10 lots, 100 lots does not move the market. These guys are doing hundreds of thousands of lots and hundreds of thousands of contracts. So we have to follow their moves. So we wait for them to get in and then we follow and take a piggyback to where they're taking their exits. May since because I never changed mine, 25 pips, I like that. Yeah, I don't really change mine. Again, I try and it just depends. When it's too big, I'll just don't take the trade. I'd rather not trade and then take a bad entry because my stop loss is too big. That's what's up, bro. Yeah, again, I've traded Bitcoin every now and then. It works on everything. It's just because listen, this strategy works so well. It's because it's market structure. The way the market moves has to make higher highs and higher lows to go higher. It has to make lower lows and lower highs to go lower. That is what we trade. We don't fuck. ICT is a hard strategy to learn is because you're waiting for liquidity sweeps. You're waiting for inversions. You're waiting for all of these things that doesn't necessarily play a part in market structure. Right? So that is why other strategies are so hard to learn is because market structure can inverse a fair value gap and then it could go right back through it. It could touch an order block and then go right back through it, right? So this strategy works so well because we are just going with the trend. All we're doing is waiting for a correction, which we call a pullback, and then we take the trend, right? Again, I held a trade. Go look at July 30th. That is the trend. That is the matter of fact, I'll just show you real quick. I caught this on July 30th and I just closed the position the other day, right? That just shows you how long you could hold trends in gold, right? You can never do that in any other asset. Right here, July 30th. I've been holding a trade since July 30th. And look where we're at. Right? How did I catch this trade? Simple. Fibonacci. Right? That was it. That was it. Again, I showed everybody in the Discord. I sent a screenshot of the timestamp, right? I was going to hold it for 2 months, but I end up closing it early, but it doesn't matter. We hit all-time highs. I'm good. I'll wait for price to retrace, give me another level, and then I'll hold it for another 2 months, right? You said, don't even get him started. That trade is, yeah, for real, right? But I don't get why you choose that specific lower low to enter the trade when there are other lower lows. I'm just saying that lower low was because we want to what time frame we use? I use high time frames to pick the market, and then I will go down to a lower time frame to wait. But the reason why we wait is because we want the trend, right? If you take it off this again, you could take it off of this. I'm not saying you can't, right? Anytime price breaks a lower low and retraces to that low, that is where we take our entry. 100%. The reason why I waited is because price was at all-time highs and I didn't want price to reverse on me, right? So if we go to a higher time frame, you will see that I waited for price to get underneath a support level in a higher time frame before I took this trade. Can someone drop the Discord link one more time? Yes, can someone please drop the Discord link for bro? But again, oh, matter of fact, it was this. Look at the higher time frame. Look, there is only 1, 2, 3 lower lows that pull back to this level, right? So that is why we waited, right? This is the resistance. Oh shit, right? This is the 30-minute time frame, right? We get the break right here on the 30-minute. This is the first break on the 30-minute, right? Because this one is on a lower time frame, so this could have been a manipulated break. So that is why I waited. This is the last bearish candle. I waited for price to break underneath of it, which it does right here, right? So now I want to see price continue making lower lows after breaking the high time frame. Remember, market structure is 30 minutes or above, right? So if I waited on the 1 minute for a break for a market structure shift, and then we could have got manipulated. That is why ICT, in my opinion, doesn't work. It's because it teaches you 1 minute and 5 minute and 15-minute time frame. It doesn't allow you to look at the higher time frame for the direction of the market, right? So that is why they want you to pay for that, right? You can't just find that shit on YouTube, right? So again, this is the last lower high or higher low. We finally broke it right here with this push down. So once price made its low and then made a lower low right here, all I waited for was the pullback. Where's the pullback to? To this level right here. That was a look, I'm in the 30-minute time frame. So 1, 2, 3 hours price couldn't get above, and then 1, 2 for 2 hours price couldn't go below, right? So this is a nice level. We want price to get under. As price gets underneath this level, we want it to retest it and hold, right? So now look at where my stop loss is right here, nice and tight. And now look where my profit could be, right? Down here at Asia low. And this is exactly what I caught. I caught this whole move. I caught it was 21R because my stop loss was a little bit tighter, or 22R. But this is what I caught, bro. Go look on my TikTok right now. Go look on the last thing that I posted, and you will see I caught this whole move down. And it only took 30 minutes, 1 hour. It took 2 hours. It took 2.5 hours for a fucking 4,000 points, right? Which is 430 pips, which is crazy. Yes, high time frames, you do not want to be less than 30 minutes. No, I'm not in a trade right now. No, I'm going to show you why. Right? So if this is the low that we just took this trade off of, giving me a lower low, where's the correction? The correction is happening right now. Right? Price made its lower low right here. Right? Price made its low, a lower low. Where's the next lower low? The next lower, let me take this off. The next lower low is right here. So where's the correction? The correction is back to this level right here. We rejected it once. We didn't make a lower low. We rejected it twice. Now we're at this level again. So once price turns bearish on a 5-minute time frame, and then I will take the trade, right? So I need price to get underneath this level. Why am I picking this level, right? It was support. Now it was resistance. Sorry. It was support right here for a couple minutes. A couple, like maybe an hour. It gets underneath of it. Price comes down. We wanted price to stay underneath of this, and then we would took a sell underneath of this. Yeah, I'm in the US. So now price is back up at this level. So I want price to get underneath this level, and I want it to start to be bearish, and then we can start to look for trades, right? But I want price to continue bearish, so we get the retest and we can take a trade off of any of these retests. But we can't just take a trade because it's at that level, right? Again, a indication has to make a lower low, right? Did this indication make a lower low? Yes, it made a lower low, so this is a clean indication, right? The correction comes back to the level that it broke. This is the level that it broke if we look at a higher time frame, right? So this gave us a lower low. So now price is retracing for the correction, right? So this is the correction in the market. Right? So once price flips bearish, and then we take the trade and we target the lower low, right? And as you can see, we're actually getting pushed right now, right? But you put your stop loss at the highs, right? We target the next level liquidity. Where's the next level liquidity? Right here, right? A 12R. That is what I'm looking for, right? So that is why we wait for price to retrace to a level. Again, in a 4-hour, you're going to see less candles, right? Again, look, we have the break indication. We're getting our correction. We should our U.S. brokers just have to be regulated. Listen, I use liquid brokers and I use CoinX. They to me are good brokers that I've never had a problem with, and they give you high leverage. I never use a in-state broker because they only give you 1 to 50 leverage. My leverage is 1 to 1,000 or 1 to 500, depending on which one that I just told you about. I'm just gonna type it in. This is the same exact broker that Sai uses. Is liquidbrokers.com. It is probably the best if you want to use Forex. It is the best broker ever that I've ever come across. I do use another broker as well, and it's called CoinX. But Liquid Brokers, again, is hands down the best. They've never had any problems with withdrawal, none of that stuff. Gates FX is, oh, sorry. I like using MT5, right? Gates FX does not allow me to use MT5 anymore. Just some bullshit going on with the CEO, but it's just between me and him, right? But 1 out of 10, what you give CoinX? I give CoinX a less. I have a lot of money in CoinX, so I'm gonna give him a 10, right? But Gates FX, if you like to use Trade Locker as a platform, yes, all of these are always going to be offshore brokers. Again, Trades by Sai has like $20 million with liquid brokers in his live account, right? Again, go to Alex G Instagram. He's using liquid brokers, right? A lot of the biggest brokers out there are using TradesFX. I mean, wow, TradesFX are using liquid brokers. Do you trade NQ? Yes, I did take a trade on NQ today. But again, I only traded ES and NQ. Now, 99% of my trades are gold. Higher time frame is for direction. I use every single time frame. I use the 4-hour, the 2-hour, the 1 hour, and the 30-minute are the sense of direction. When I'm looking to try and get into a trade, I'm looking in the 30-minute and the 15-minute for structure. And then 5-minute, I want candle closures. 1 minute, I take executions. It just allows you to be more. When you do stuff like this, the way that I do it, your win rate is gonna go through the roof. Because if you're honestly in the lower time frames, it's so much noise that you're just gonna be smacked, right? So if you allow the higher time frames to play out, it's gonna give you the direction it wants to go, and then you just take it, right? But when you are on a lower time frame, you're almost predicting. Right? We're not predicting anything. There's so many. Do you have a video explaining? Go to Trades by Sai YouTube. It breaks down everything. He has like 12 videos that breaks down every single step of ICC. So again, I am going to make more videos on YouTube, but recently I just only been posting my lives. Right? So I will do it, I promise y'all. But go watch Trades by Sai. Go watch it on YouTube. I promise you. Yes, this is ICC. Yes. All right, go watch him on YouTube. It will help you understand this strategy better. So when you come to me, I can basically walk you through it in a better sense. Just made $1. Couldn't done without you. He's funny as hell, bro. Yeah, starting from day one. Yeah, listen, starting from day one. Listen, I promise you again. Every majority of people in my Discord are honestly starting from day one, and they are literally light years ahead of people because of the way that I go live every single day. I answer every question. Do I sell a course? Everything's free. I don't sell a course. I wake up to over 100 DMs every single day, and I reply to every single person. And everybody in my Discord can vouch for that, right? I don't leave you on red. I fucking am so active when it comes to this shit, right? I'm trying to help you guys get there. What the hell was I about to do? Where the fuck it just go? But again, gold, if gold gets underneath this level and starts to make lower lows and lower highs, it might be a good sign. But again, if you see, gold has been consolidating for a while in this area, so we don't want to take any trades in this area yet. We want price to break out the bottom. All right, we want price to start to make, you know, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, break out, retest, and go lower. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I guarantee it, bro. If you stick in my Discord, please, if you stick in my Discord for 2 months, 2 months, and you are dedicated, right? I do free one-on-ones. Every day I do around 3 to 4 one-on-ones every single day. I do free one-on-ones. You can't beat that. Nobody's going free one-on-ones. And ask anybody. Go ask anybody, how long are my one-on-one sessions? Are they quick? I fucking did a one-on-one with somebody for 9 hours. For 9 hours I did a one-on-one with somebody. Tell me who the fuck is doing that. Feel me? Like, so nobody is doing it. I'm giving you literally everything. I'm helping you to the best of my ability, and I'm as active as possible, bro. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it, because there's not many people. I didn't mean to pin that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I guess that's a good pin, right? But again, yeah, 2 weeks he passed his funded, right? Ask Loco. If Loco's in here, me and him did a one-on-one for like 9 hours, bro. In the trade alerts, it says trade alerts. I will listen. Go to the Discord, go to the trade alert section, and turn on the alerts for every time I post. Every time I post, I will add everybody for when I take trades. But he said protect this man at all costs. Funny as hell. But yeah, so again, with this trade that's going on right now, we want to start to see selling. We want to start to see a lot of volume. All right, 8 o'clock is coming in, so Asia is just now opening up, right? It says invalid. Again, it does that sometimes. Send me a DM right now, and I will send it to you in the DM. Because sometimes it does that. I don't know why, but just send me a DM right now, and you got. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, send Papa John a DM, and he got you, right? He will make sure you get in. It just does some bullshit sometimes. I don't know why that link does that, but regardless, just send any of us a DM, and when this live is over, we'll make sure that you're in. But yeah, so again, any single time price starts to make lower highs and lower lows, all you do is wait for that pullback. Once price respects that level, take the trade, and as you can see, we melt. Right? Thank you. The fuck you think you're taking my job, Papa? When does the live cut off? We'd probably be live until like 10 o'clock. All my lives are long, super long. Unless my girl is here, and then she be sighing, and I'll be like a 2-hour live. But for anybody that like is in the live and cannot be here the whole time, go to my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, and I post all of our lives in the YouTube. So if you want to go rewatch anything that I said, you do that as well. Again, I do go over prop firms that I use and the best prop firms out there for the people that want to use prop firms, because that is a very, very big thing when it comes to how we trade and what we do. Prop firms, in my opinion, are way better than using a live account because we're only spending 50 bucks. And then there's potential to make a lot of money. And my YouTube is breezy.trades 13. Matter of fact, it's in my bio. Go to my bio and there's my YouTube. If you go to my Discord as well, there's a YouTube section, and then you could just look there as well. But I will post it. Matter of fact, I think it's just breezy.trades 13. Yeah, I'm working on it. I just been super busy. You said the best prop firm. The best prop firms, it just depends, right? Do you want? So for me, I don't want an activation fee. I want to spend 50 bucks, 60 bucks, and then I want to pass the account and don't have to spend another 150 bucks for an activation fee to get that funded account. So with Top Step, if you spend 50 bucks for the account, you have to spend another 150 bucks once you pass the account, right? So for me, my funded futures and Blue Guardian futures have the best prices and have the best rules, payouts, all that, right? Top Step, again, I have Top Step accounts, but you have to spend 150 bucks once you pass the account, right? So Blue Guardian futures right now is doing 50% off. So you spend 50 bucks and you get a free account after you get a payout, right? So blueguardianfutures.com, right? Do their standard account, 50K account standard comes to 50 bucks. It says a month, but you'll never pay monthly. You will either blow the account or you're gonna pass the account before that month ends. You will never pay monthly. So it's 50 bucks. Once you pass, you have no activation fee, right? So make sure you do standard, all right? Not Guardian, because Guardian is 40 bucks, but you have a $150 activation fee, right? My funded futures is the next best one. It's like 60 bucks, right? And again, they have no activation fee. So that is what I recommend, my funded futures or Blue Guardian. Make sure when you do Blue Guardian, make sure you hit Project X. Make sure you hit Project X as your platform. Instant accounts, we don't do instant accounts because they have a consistency rule of 20%. So if you make $1,000 your first trade, you have to make another $4,000 before you get a payout. With these accounts, there's no consistency rule with my funded futures. So if you make $5,000, right? With Top Step, if you make $5,000, you have to make another $5,000 before you can make a payout. With no consistency rule, if you make $1,000, right, and then you make $100 for the next 4 days, you could take a payout, right? So that's why we do no consistency rules and we do 50K accounts. Send me again, if you guys have any questions, just send me a DM and I will help you out. If you have questions about anything, just send me a DM. Yeah, so once you turn 50K into 53K, anything after that is yours up to $10,000, and then you get 90%, right? So that is how it works. I like my funded futures. Again, they're just around the same price, but Blue Guardian, this is called blueguardianfutures.com. Right here, blueguardianfutures.com. Right? And then the other one is called myfundedfutures.com. Right? They're the two that I recommend for beginners. They're 50, 60 bucks, very fucking easy. Right? You have 50K account, you turn it to $53,000, and then they give you an account, right? Make sure if you're using Blue Guardian, there's a promo code called BOGO50. Right? That's the promo code for 50% off, and then you get a free account once you get a payout, right? And then they also have a 51% off with match as the promo code, and you get 51% off, right? So look, right? If you use code BOGO50, it turns it to 50 bucks. Make sure that your platform is Project X. If you use code MATCH, you get 51% off. Right? So it's 49 bucks, right? Yeah, so with Blue Guardian, you spend 50 bucks. Once you pass the eval, you get your free live account. You don't have to like Top Step. If you pass the account, you have to spend 150 bucks to get the live account, right? With Blue Guardian Futures, you don't have to. That is why I'm starting to use them. And they have the same payout rules and everything. It's the same shit. It's just that, you know, they have to find out a way to compete with Top Step. Top Step is the best prop firm in the entire world. They have the most payouts, the best traders on there, right? So these other prop firms are just trying to compete. Right? There is a website, if you come to my Discord, it's called propfirmmatch.com, and they have all of the prop firms that are good. Right? How many accounts can you have? I think it's up to 5. Yeah, no issues. Never had an issue. Right? Propfirmmatch.com shows you all of the FX prop firms, and then if you click futures up here, where it says up here, it says futures and Forex. We trade futures, right? Alpha future. I use all of them. There hasn't been one I haven't used. I haven't used Take Profit. I haven't used Top One Futures, and then like these last 3 I haven't used. But I used all of them. I don't know if Blue Guardian is America. I don't know. I don't know. No, it's AE. It's is that Saudi or that's I don't know what AE. I forget what AE means, but I like them. I like them a lot. They're again a lot of people that are very good with prop firms. They are maxing out. I can't trust it, but I'll try it. Listen, I would never ever put my name on something that is not good. I would never ever do some shit like that. That's why I recommend my funded futures, Top Step, and Blue Guardian because again they are the 3 that I rely on. And again, if you don't mind paying an activation fee, if you have the money and you don't mind paying an activation fee, right? Alpha Futures, Top Step. They are my go-to. My funded futures, Alpha Futures, and Top Step. They are my 3 go-to. I will have a live account with all of them, hopefully by the end of this year, and then I'll be working. I don't like Apex or the trailing drawdown, but they have 20 accounts. But yeah, Blue Guardian, yeah. Yes, you could do Forex trading. But when you do Forex trading, they're just a little bit more expensive than FX. So again, I like to use QT funded when it comes to FX. I like to use Alpha Capital Group because they're just Alpha Futures but FX. So if I'm gonna use any Forex prop firms, the only 2 I'm using is Alpha Capital Group and Forex Prime accounts. Right? I never used Blue Guardian FX yet, but there again, FX Blue Guardian FX is known for in UK. It is yeah, it's yeah, you're right, Jacob. It is that. But Blue Guardian Futures is known for pardon me. BlueGuardian.com is known for FX. They just started a futures account, but Blue Guardian is very well known. It's just not for FX. I mean, not for futures yet because they're newer, right? If you're not in America, funding pips is a fucking phenomenal. Yeah. Blue Guardian futures, you trade gold. That's what I'm trading right now. I have my account with them right now. Yeah, again, any of these are good, right? Any of them that I put my stamp on is good. I just never use them for Forex. I like it's 50 bucks. Why go if you go to blueguardian.com, right? Their account For FX is pretty yeah, for the funded is 40%, yes. Yes. Right, they're just a little bit more, it's just a little bit more expensive when you do FX. That's why I don't use them. Look, it's 280 for a 50K account. 200 bucks for a 50K account. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit more expensive. That's why. Right? QT funded two-step account is what I use. They have no consistency rule in the funded stage. My funded future scale 50K account has no consistency rule, and Alpha Capital Group advanced accounts have no consistency rule. Again, I recommend them once you start to once you become a better trader. But for somebody that is starting off, the consistency rule should not really affect you as long as you're consistent with like $400 or $500 per day, right? It's just they only do the consistency rule if you're doing like $1,000 and then your average trade is like $100, right? But it doesn't matter because, for instance, right, I took a QT funded instant account for 20%. My first trade was $2,000, so for 20%, I had to make $8,000 in order for me to get a payout, right? So that's the only reason why anything below 40% I don't like. That's so funny, Jacob. Right? But that I don't do it. I would never do a consistency rule lower than 40%. 40% to me is fine. 50%, that's what Top Step is. That's fine, right? 20%, no bueno. That's no good. Can't do that. It's just, again, it's not anything wrong with it. It's just you have to be either consistent at a small number, right? 400 or 500 bucks, or you have to make more money over a long period of time, or a longer period of time. All right, so for gold again, gold to me is called in a no trade zone. Right, I need price to do exactly what I'm showing you on this chart. Right, we have our indication. Why do we have the indication? Price has a low. Oh shit, you guys can't see. Why is this an indication? We have our low here. Price makes a new lower low. Right, so this is my indication that price should be going lower. So again, we never hop in just because the indication and then we get a correction. And then we get a correction, right? The correction comes back to the low that was broken. So you never just hop in. We wait for price to become bearish and then we hop in, right? As of right now, there's no bearish momentum at all, right? Because this could happen. What did price just come down to? Price is coming down to a support level and it holds pretty strong, and now we're very bullish, right? So there's either two things that I'm looking for, and I will take the trade. If price decides to break out the top, retest this area, and goes higher, right? I will take that trade, right? Once price gets back above this level here, which is my last lower high, that is when I will take the trade. But it has to get above this lower high, all right? Giving me indication, making a higher high, a correction, continuation. So I would take the trade in buys if that happens, or if price breaks out the bottom. Right, so again, if price comes off of this high, touches, goes higher, and why is it that level? Is because this is my lower high. I need price to get above this high for trend to change. Why? Again, I hate TikTok, bro. It's like I can't fit everything on the screen. All right, so that is kind of what I'm looking for. Again, I want price to go below this low. I want price to break this support level right here, and then I want to have price come down, start to be bearish, get beneath, creating a lower low from these lows here, retest, and go lower. I'll be live Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday. Oh no, what's tomorrow? Friday? Yeah, no, I can't be live tomorrow. I'm going out tomorrow. Damn it. No, I'll be live Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. Eastern. So if price could get above 3561, and then buys will look good as long as it makes a higher high. It has to make a higher high, higher than the high on 3261, right? 3358. Oh, you're in futures. Hold on, you said, is it buys at 33? Hold on, you got the numbers wrong. Ain't no 33. Right, price is making a head and shoulders. You get 3558. That's a little high. Matter of fact, that is it. 3361. But again, the only reason I'm saying 3361 because this is the last swing high in a higher time frame. So I want price to get back above that. Right? This is the last lower high. I want price to get back above this. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, right here. If price can get above this level, like I showing you right here, if price can get above this level, buys look good, right? If price can break underneath this level, sells look good, right? As long as we get a break. Whatever one looks clean, like right now, watch. If I look at the 4 hour, where is my lower high at, right? We have a high, but we don't see a lower high. So I'll go to the 2 hour, and as you can see, there is really no pullback on the 2 hour, so I really don't have a definitive answer. So I'm gonna go to the 1 hour, and then the 1 hour is like, here it is. There's my pullback right here, right? So what, oh, sorry, you guys probably can't see, right? So as you can see, on the 4 hour, we couldn't see this pullback, but on the 1 hour, we see that pullback. So that is where I'm going to use that time frame. You have to, whatever one looks good to you, right? Whatever one makes sense to you. That's why that's why like demo testing is very, very important. So you can continue to try and perfect this strategy as best as possible. Okay, the reason why you're having a problem with the correction, again, what is this, right? This is where price came down and retraced, right? So this is my lower low. Price makes a new lower low, right? So where did price fall from? Where was that where was that last lower low? Is right here, right? So the correction is price coming back to that lower low. And as you can see, price came back to that lower low. So now what we need to see, since price is going bullish right now, we are getting higher highs, right? We got a higher high, right? Now we have an equal high. So in order for us to take the trade, we have to start to become bearish. We can't just take the trade when we're bullish because there's no confirmation that we're going lower, right? Just because we're at a correction doesn't mean price has to go lower. It's just the way that trends work, right? So we wait for price to give us that bearish look. So now I'm going to go down to a lower time frame, and I'm going to start to see that right now price just made equal highs. All right, so that's not a higher high or a lower high, so that's a good sign that price may start to become bearish. So what happens? Price broke underneath, broke down, touched this FVG. All right, so now where's our major and minor level? So this is where time and understanding and coming to my lives, you'll start to understand what I mean by minor levels. What is this right here? Right, this is if this is my higher high, this is a lower high, which is also a resistance level, right? So price, what did price just do? Price came up, touched it, and then went higher. So now this is a level that we are going to be looking at, right? We want price to get underneath this level, because if price doesn't make a high from this right here, and it retraces and gets underneath this level, And then now we are starting to be bearish, right? So now what we would have is a first break right here that we should be going lower. So now all we want is a rejection off of this right here. And then we make another lower low. And then we retrace to this high right here, right? Because again, that's going to be another level. So now once we start to do these levels, that is when we're going to start to see that price is becoming bearish, right? Because we're getting what? Lower lows and lower highs. So now that means the correction is over and that we should be looking to get into the trade. So now once price breaks beneath this low right here, that is our new indication on a low time frame. So now we want the correction and then we take the trade, right? Off of the break underneath this, right? So we are just waiting for price to flip bearish. So this is the 15. Again, I will scale down into the 5 or the 2 and start to see what is going on. And as you can see in the 2 minute, right, we don't make a higher high. We make a lower high, right? So now price is becoming bearish now. So now we want price to get underneath this low, just like I said, right? Get price underneath this low, create a new lower low from this, causing a market structure shift. We want a retest of that low. We want price to make another low, get underneath of this low right here. All right, we wanted to do steps. Oh shit, sorry guys. All right, so this is the low. We want price to get underneath of it, giving us a lower low, right? This is my low. If price gets underneath of it, it's going to give me a lower low. What's a lower low? A lower low is a bearish structure, right? So we want price to do that, retest this low, come down, giving me a new lower low. What's it need to do? Retest this low. And then that's when we could start to take our entries. This is when price starts to flip bearish and start to respect the lower lows and higher and lower highs, right? Just like it is right here, right? Price, watch. Price has a low or a high, a lower high, a lower high, right? Price came down. Where's the next level? Right here, right? What did price do? Did price stay underneath of it? Price got underneath of it, giving me indication below this we are bearish. We recorrected to it, and then we dropped again, right? So now price got back above this high, came corrected to it, and went higher, right? So now we are literally just waiting for price to get back bullish by making the same structure it did here, right? Down, correct, down, right? So we went down, correct, right? And then again, we want it underneath support, so we know that it's going to go to a next level of support, right? That is what happens. We don't want to trade within support and resistance because price could go right back down to support and reverse. We wanted to get it under support so it goes to the next level of liquidity, and that next level of liquidity is going to be, you know, a couple hundred pips away. Look, 4,000 points away, which is 479 pips, which $10 a pip, $20 a pip, $1 a pip. Crazy numbers, right? So that is kind of what we are looking for. Again, it's never going to be easy. It's never going to come overnight. Just be consistent, right? Turn my notifications on. So when I go live every single day, Monday through Friday. Every day, not Friday. Well, okay, Monday through Friday, but not this Friday because I have shit to do, right? But I still go live every day. And I still even might go live on Sunday as well. But we just go over this. I go over my, like again, matter of fact, I'll go over my trade recap for NQ. Just so you guys could see what I seen. Alright, I'm going to show you the trades that I took yesterday or the other day, and I'm going to show you the trades that we took today. I'm delusional, bull, bullish, 3.9 go down, big correction. It's still within that support and resistance zone, so it's still hard to trade. Okay, right? So okay, so look at price. What is price doing? So we always have to look at what was price doing. Best market to trade for as a beginner. I think gold, to be honest. Me personally, I like gold. Gold is if you could get gold down because gold trends are longer, and then you're gonna have no problem in the market. But if you start to trade NQ, NQ has so much dips and all these crazy things in it, right? There's so look, NQ has what 100 copper, platinum. I never traded them a day in my life. NQ has 100 companies, right? So there is a lot of more variables that could go wrong with NQ that make price dip or go higher, right? Gold is gold. It is the standard. If you look at DXY, which is the dollar index, if the dollar is going down, gold is going up. If the gold is going up, the dollar is going down, right? So you have something to correlate against, right? So that is why I like gold, because I'm just going to come to the 4-hour time frame, look at the dollar, and I'm seeing the dollar's in a downtrend, and then I just go to gold, and we see gold is in a massive uptrend, right? That's called opposite correlations, right? So me, gold is the easiest thing to trade. 99% of all of my trades are gold. All right, I do trade right now since we're at all-time highs. I can't trade gold. I don't like to trade all-time highs. It's just not. It's not a good. You know what I mean? It's not good, right? So I'd rather go to a different asset, or I'd rather wait until gold gives me levels that I could. Right? We can't trade without support and resistance. There has to be. Yeah, so you do options, okay. But there has to be some type of levels for price to respect in order for us to get into trades, right? We can't just trade off random levels and random price action. There has to be levels that we're going to locate, and then we take the trade off of that, right? We just don't look at structure and say, hey, we're bullish, so we're taking buys. No, I want price to go to a level, respect it, and then take the trade. Alright, so let me give you an example. Price was doing what? High, 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 high. Lower, high, or higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. That's market structure. Where's our last low? Is right here. Right? So, if we are making, let me try and do this a little bit better. Alright, so what are we making? We're making higher highs and higher lows. So, in order for market structure to be broken, what needs to happen? My higher low has to be broken underneath of, right? So it did. So if we, oh shit, sorry. All right, we have our high, our higher low, our high. So price is doing what? High, higher low, high, higher low, high, higher low, high. So what do we need to get? A higher low, and then we need to print a high in order for price to continue an uptrend. Did we get a higher high? No. What did we get? We got a lower high. So this is my first clue that price is not going any higher because it did not follow structure. Do you see how easy this structure is? It's literally giving you a high and then a falls down a little bit to give you another high. It falls down a little, but where does it? It's not like it's falling down to a random level. Look, if this makes a high, where does it fall down to? The high. Right? What did price do? It fell down to this level. It holds at this level. So this is my indication. This is my indication that price wants to go higher because it got above this high. Right? My correction is back down to this level. Once price holds and starts to turn bullish, right? If this is the last bearish candle, it got above it, recorrected right down to it. I'm taking my entry, and all we do is aim for the next level of highs. All right, so that is how you know the correction is over. Once it respects that level, the last previous high, right? That's how you know it's over. So this is my correction, which is price coming back down to my lower high. I mean my higher high, right? Johnny, I appreciate the follow, and I appreciate everybody that followed and sent gifts. I know I haven't been like talking to y'all, but I appreciate all of it. It's just that I want to get through this shit so you guys understand. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Right, and then we have our continuation is what we take our trade in. Right, so that is how this shit works. Price has to make a new higher high for the continuation to be valid. So now we make our higher high. What does price do? Where does it retrace to? This is the last high. Look, price retraces to it. It holds. So now again, it's all over again. This is my indication because price makes a higher high. This is my correction because price came back down to the high that it just previously broke. Right, this is the high. Price broke this high, making a new high. Where did price correct down to? Right to the high. Right, once price gets above the resistance, you take the trade, and price makes a new higher high. So that's our continuation. So now, what do we want to do? We want price to retrace, right? Where does price have to retrace to? To our high. So if price retraces to our high, but it still stays bearish, meaning, right, we have our a high, a lower high, and then what do we get? A lower high, lower highs. You see what I'm saying? We are still getting lower highs. So we're not taking any buys because it's bearish. We have not had structure change yet, right? So what is price doing? This is support. What did price do? Price got underneath support, it retested it, and it made a new lower low. So now this is my indication that we are in a new trend because price made a lower low. Price will never make a lower low in a uptrend. It never will, ever. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? Price will never make a higher high in a downtrend. It's impossible. You see what I'm saying? So what do? We know that underneath this level, because it was support, we make a low. Hold on. We just make a lower low, right? So now we know underneath this level, we are bearish. So if price retraces to this level like it just did, and again, I will teach you fib later, but it's a fib level. Look, fib level, we take the trade, making a new lower low, but I'll teach you that later. But again, so now we know that underneath this level, we are bearish because it made a lower low. If it didn't make a lower low, and then it's not an indication. So now this is my indication that we're going lower. This is my correction. Once price starts to turn bearish, normally close below the first candle, and then we take the trade, right? What does price do? Price literally makes a lower low, and then it stays underneath this low here. Price bounces underneath of it, right? If I go down to a lower time frame, you're going to see a little bit clearer, and you're going to see why I took this trade. right? We have my high, we have a lower high, we have a new lower high, we have a new lower high. So what is going on, right? We are in a downward trend. That's how trends work, right? A new lower high, a new lower low, a new what? Lower high, a new lower low, right? So what does price have to do? Price has to break beneath. So now we create a support level because price does go sideways for a while. So all we want to do is for price to get under this level, retest it, and then we take the sell. So now I'm gonna go down to the 5-minute time frame. And as you can see, what does price do? Let me draw a little bit. Look, see, this is the low. So we're gonna draw our box at the low. Right? What did price do? Price broke underneath of it. So this is my indication because why? This is my last lower low. This is the 5-minute time frame. Price broke underneath of it. So this is my indication that price is going lower. Where's my correction? Where? Look at the support. Where's my lower low? Right here. So price has to correct back to this level. So this is my correction. And then where's continuation? We just made a lower low, so we have to make a new lower low. Right? So what do we target? We target next level lows. Alright, so I'm going to draw my line. Alright, and as you can see, we hit a nice TP. Alright, but again, we can even target lower than that as price continues to go lower, and I'm going to show you how to stay in the trade. Right? But that is just how you do it. You wait for the support level to be broken. You wait for price to retrace. Right? You go down to a lower time frame. All right, 1 minute, 5 minute, whatever works best for you. You will figure it out as you start to trade this. Where the fuck did it just go? Bro, where the fuck did it just go? I know it wasn't that far away. Oh, alright, fuck it. Okay, let me just go back down to the 2 minute then. Okay, there we go. Alright. So look how clean it looks on the 2 minute. It's probably look even cleaner on the 1 minute. Right? But look, price came down. Even you could have took it off of this. Right? But you still see that we have a lower high here, a new lower high here, a new lower high here. Right? So once price got underneath our support, it retested correction. So how do we get in? How do we get in? We know that we're bearish now because price gave us my indication that we're going lower. So now all I wait again is for a level to be broke. We want a pullback, right? So look, again, this is called a minor level. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 8 minutes worth of support. That price could not go below this. So I am going to draw my level out right here, right? Once price gets underneath of it and retests it and starts to go this way, I'll just take my trade. Right? Take the trade, put your stop loss at the high, right? And then we go and target, you know what I just told you, that's a 3R right there, right? Again, we end up getting this whole move down, but I'm going to keep showing you why it's so fucking easy. Watch. What does price do? Price came down, it went sideways, and then it came down. So if this is my low, where's my next lower low? Right here, right? So what does price has to do? It has to pull back to a level. So what level am I speaking of? A support or a resistance. Where's support or resistance? This is resistance, right? Or this is support right here, right? The bottom of this is support. What does price do? We are bullish, creating higher highs. So what do we need to do in order for price to become bearish? It needs to make a lower high. So price got underneath this level, giving me a lower high. right? It broke this level right here. So again, I take my trade right there, put my stop loss right here. And as you can see, we make a new lower low. So now I know again that we're still going lower. So what area is support? Right here. So if price comes to retest, look at this candle. Price came down, giving my lower low. So this is my new indication. This is my correction to this level. Once price gets underneath support like it just did, we take the trade, put your stop loss at the tops. I made 58K today. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think we did like 91 today. Yesterday we did 286. 286K was yesterday. We did 91 today. We're already up like 390 on the month, and it's already what, like 4? It's the 5th or the 4th, and we're at like 391. Isn't it crazy? This month is gonna be insane. I already could tell. Right, but that is just all I do. I don't do anything different. The way I just walk through the steps is what I'm looking at in every single trade that I take. I don't do nothing different. Right, and as you can see, we continue to print lower lows, and all I do is look for price to go sideways, and then I make my levels. Right, so if this was the last lower, we make a new lower low. All right, this was the resistance, this was the support of that level. How do you know where you place your entries? Again, if I'm in a downward trend and price makes a lower low, all I do is wait for price. Again, I just need price to be bearish. If I'm in a downtrend, it has to be bearish. So if I'm making higher highs, that's not bearish. If this is my high and I make a lower high, that is now being bearish. So now I just wait for price to break support. Where's my support at? Price couldn't go beneath this right here for how long? For a while. So I'm drawing my level right here. Once price gets underneath of it, take the trade. Put your stop loss right here. That's it. That is it. That is it. Support price couldn't go underneath this level from 4 o'clock all the way until 6 o'clock. So for 2 hours, price couldn't go beneath this level. So if price gets underneath this level, and then that means there's more sellers than buyers, because buyers would have pushed up from this level. So once we got underneath this level, take the trade, put it at the next high, target the next area of lows. All right. And then we go back to a higher time frame, and that is where the direction of the trend is going to continue to go. Where do we target? The next area of lows, right? And as you can see, you get a 22 RR. All right, again, go on my TikTok. You will see that I caught this whole move down. I literally caught it from here. I caught this whole move down, literally. And then I caught it again. But we'll get into that. I mean, you go look at my TikTok, it shows you. Yes, we will have, yes, we'll be in the chat tomorrow. But that is it, guys. That is literally what we do, right? So, and then again, what else? We took this trade right here as well. Because why? We were getting lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. Where's my support level? Was right here. Once price got underneath of it, I just took the trade, put my stop loss at the high. Caught this trade all the way down. In fact, I caught it right there. All right, but again, that's it. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, support for 30-minute support, right? So for literally from 4 a.m. all the way until 12 p.m., price could not go below this area. So this is support. So what do we need to do to get in? We have to be bearish. So what does price do? It makes a lower low, a higher low, a new lower low, a new higher low. So every time it breaks and creates a new lower low, as long as price stays underneath of it, you're good. Take the trade. Yeah, so again, we will always take the trade as support to go lower. We want price to break support, right? Take the trade, go lower. Resist it, and then in the uptrend, it's just the same exact opposite, right? Price, let me go to, yeah. Again, sometimes in an uptrend, it doesn't have to stay on resistance. As you can see, what does price do? Price makes a higher high, but price retests resistance. I mean support, and not resistance. That's why I don't like gold. I mean, wow, fuck, that was retarded. That's why I don't like NQ or ES, because price will make a new high, but instead of retesting the high or the resistance, it retests the support and then it goes higher. But if I go look on gold, look at gold. Look how easy gold was. Gold literally retests the top every single time. All right, watch. This is the high. Price retested the resistance, turning into support to go higher. Right? This is the high. Price retested to go higher. Right? This is the high. Price retested to go higher. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is why gold is a lot easier, because it respects market structure. NQ and ES does not. So you just have to be careful and not be overly eager, and just wait for price to give you that direction, to give you it, right? That's all. That is it. Just be patient. Gold price action is too fucking clean. It's like the easiest in the world. Do you mark your bodies to wicks mostly? Yes. Yeah. Because the wick in a lower time frame, a wick in a high time frame is not going to be a wick in a low time frame. So on gold again, what's the higher time frame telling us? All right, we still haven't got above this high here. So I want to see price get... Yo, they just suspended me for hateful speech? That's so crazy, bro. What did I say? This shit is crazy? Oh, I said retarded? Bro. They are killing me, bro. They are killing me, bro. Yeah, it's the algo for sure. Yeah, I gotta start looking into this other stuff, bro, because TikTok is just like, it don't want to work with me, bro.